One Piece didn't just change anime, it changed an entire generation. What if I told you that a story about pirates has inspired millions of people to never give up on their dreams? And no, that's not an exaggeration. For more than 25 years, One Piece has entertained fans across the world, but its real impact goes far beyond anime. It has changed lives, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why. Before we continue, think about this. How many stories can make people laugh, cry, and completely change the way they look at life? Very few. Yet One Piece has been doing exactly that since 1997. At its core, One Piece isn't about treasure. It's about dreams. Every Straw Hat pirate has a dream that seems impossible. Luffy wants to become the Pirate King. Zoro wants to be the world's greatest swordsman. Nami wants to map the entire world, and despite being told they're crazy, they keep moving forward. That's a lesson many young people desperately need today. Because let's be honest, the world constantly tells us what we can't do. You're not talented enough, you're not smart enough, you're not ready. But One Piece teaches something different. It teaches that determination matters more than perfection. And that's only the beginning. Because the reason fans become emotionally attached to this series isn't the action, it's the pain, the struggles, the sacrifices. Think about Robin. A child who grew up running from place to place, never allowed to stay anywhere long enough to feel safe. Someone who spent her entire life being treated as a threat, as if her existence alone was a crime. Because of that, she learned to hide her emotions, to expect betrayal, and to believe that no one would ever truly want her around. For a long time, she carried that loneliness in silence, convinced that the world would be better off without her. Then came one of the most iconic moments in anime history. I Want to Live. That scene didn't just make fans cry, it shattered years of emotional walls she had built around herself. It showed a person who had finally been given something she had never truly experienced before: acceptance. And in that moment, Robin's story became a reminder that no matter how long someone has felt unwanted, there is still a place where they can be seen, valued, and loved. And Robin isn't the only example. What about Sanji, the boy who starved, the man who would rather suffer himself than let others go hungry? Or Chopper, a child rejected simply because he was different? How many people watching this have felt rejected? Have felt alone? Have felt like they didn't belong? That's why these characters resonate with millions, because their struggles feel real. But here's something even more important. One Piece doesn't just inspire individuals, it challenges society itself. The series talks about racism, corruption, government abuse, censorship, and inequality. Themes that are surprisingly relevant in the real world. Instead of giving easy answers, it encourages viewers to think for themselves, to question authority, to stand up against injustice, to protect those who cannot protect themselves. And that's a powerful message for younger generations. In fact, in recent years, that message has gone beyond screens and into the real world. Across different countries, younger generations have raised the Straw Hat Pirate flag during protests as a symbol of resistance and hope. Not because they are celebrating piracy, but because they see Luffy's Jolly Roger as something deeper, a symbol of freedom, unity, and refusing to bow to oppression. From student movements to social protests, that simple Straw Hat skull has appeared in crowds as a quiet but powerful statement. We will not give up, and we will not be silenced. It's rare for a fictional symbol to cross that line into real-world expression, but One Piece has done exactly that. Now here's the craziest part. Most anime become popular for a few years and fade away. One Piece has remained relevant for decades. Parents who grew up watching it are now introducing it to their children. Entire friendships have been built because of it. Communities have formed because of it. Across different countries, languages, and cultures, people connect through a single story. Very few pieces of entertainment can claim that kind of impact. But maybe the greatest lesson of One Piece is this. Life isn't about reaching the destination. It's about the journey, the friends you meet, the challenges you overcome, and the person you become along the way. That's why fans don't just watch Luffy. They grow up with him. They see parts of themselves in him. And every time he gets back up after being knocked down, they're reminded that they can too. So when people ask why One Piece is so special, the answer is simple. because it gives people hope. Hope that their dreams matter. Hope that they can overcome failure. Hope that tomorrow can be better than today. And in a world where so many people feel lost, that message is more valuable than any treasure. Maybe that's why, after all these years, One Piece continues to inspire millions. Not because it's a story about pirates, but because it's a story about us. And that's what makes it legendary. If One Piece has inspired you in any way, let me know in the comments. And remember, as long as you're alive, there are infinite chances.